So if you've been following Iman Gadzhi for any length of time, you'll be aware of all the different things he's had to offer. And one of those latest ones is his latest investment and acquisition of consulting.com, which is previously Salvan's massive info product and info service kind of company, basically. And he obviously now has taken over and created, school.com. But Iman took what he previously had as 8-figure license. Now, what this was is ultimately his next level of info product / info consulting in a sense, because he's kind of got away from what he was originally creating, which is the kind of SMMA programs and helping you make money online programs, kind of general business development programs, or getting you started in business programs. And obviously, he's still doing this to an extent through, we got WAP, we have his monetized kind of in development waiting list level program for helping people kind of get either started with WAP or help them make their first digital products type of stuff. But ultimately, it's still a program of some kind. But there's this big gap in the market, and especially over the past 2 to 4 years with any of Iman Gadzhi's audience, which you may be a part of this gap, is that he's obviously helped you start making money online with an agency or making your first digital product or AI automation agencies, whatever it might have been over the past few years. And you've got these two extremes and ends of the spectrum. You've got one end, which is if you have become extremely successful and you made hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions, even hundreds of millions, thanks to Iman Gadzhi's courses, and you've started a business or multiple businesses. Maybe you sold an agency, now you're doing something else. A lot of people go from agency to software, whatever it might be, and start a SaaS company. By the way, you're on the ultra successful end of his successful students list. And then you've got the other end, which is obviously where a lot of his majority, of his audience are still stuck at. But a large percentage of the fans still at the lower end of getting started have businesses. You may be one of them. You might have an agency, you might have a SaaS business, you might have a software company of some kind, you might have an e-commerce business, wherever it might be. And you're at the other end where you have something set up, you have a side hustle or a business established. You may have been even going for a few years at this point, but you're not at that hyper successful end. And the trouble is, and what I've seen is that at least for the most part, whether it's an Iman Gadzhi course or program, whether it's anybody else's, there's never really any support that's catered to that massive gap in the middle between anyone doing over a few thousand a month or up to 10 or 20K a month and then them, becoming a millionaire basically. Because sure, he now has consulting.com, which was formerly 8-figure license. But let's be honest, how many of the low end fans, if you're watching this, are you in a position where you can afford to drop anything above like 5 to 10K on something unless you're saving for months and months and months? Because even in any business, even if you've got like a 99% margin agency, unless you're making like 5 to 10K a month consistently, no way you're going to easily be able to afford some 10 or 20K, offer, whether it's a one-time fee or especially annually or monthly, whatever it might be. And so that's why so many people are stuck in this middle gap, especially if you have got a small business going, whether you're making 2K a month or even up to 20, 30K a month. Because you might have a great business with great margins doing 10, 12, 15, 18K a month. But that doesn't mean to say that you're going to be able to save up, thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands in most cases, even hundreds of thousands in some cases, to be able to invest in one of these programs. Because probably by the time you've saved up enough, maybe tried to grow the business a little bit yourself, the program's gone. And so you need to be able to be in a position where you can have 10K, 15, 20K, 30K in the next 3 to 4 months at the very latest before any of these programs are gone or changed or updated and no longer valuable for you. And so that's where the big gap lies for so many of Iman's fans and any other kind of high ticket, online money entrepreneur, guru, influencer out there. And so that's where I see the biggest problem lie. Now, below this video is in description a link to my other video, which I wanted to share with you, before I get to the end of this video, which breaks down one of the main offers I actually do for my marketing clients, so I don't really want to divulge any details with that, but ultimately something I think would be extremely valuable for you if you are an existing business owner doing anywhere from like 2K to 20K a month in your business, and you are struggling to try and grow it sustainably. And you're not just trying to hit vanity metrics like so many people are. You're just trying to hit another 10K a month or another 20K a month. You're trying to get that new high ticket client with some sort of artificial high long-term, high LTV retainer of some kind. But if you actually want healthy, positive cash flow for the long term, that referral video, which I'm going to link in the description below, about helping you recover up to 80% or more of lost revenue every single month in most cases, then I'll literally, it's the biggest thing I can recommend you to check out. That's a readable link in the description below. So if you do find that valuable, please definitely check that out. You should really see if that can really help you in your business right now. It should massively help you at least get 80% of the way towards where I want to kind of finally kind of conclude with the end of this video now. So I know we're only about 5-6 minutes in, but what I ultimately wanted to bring this to is kind of mention the fact that with this big gap that there is with the kind of Iman audience, especially with the small business owners, you don't really have the cash flow to be investing in any help or support to get you to 6 or 7 figures a year, wherever you'd love to get to in your business, when you can't even afford a 5 or 6 figure program, let alone maybe 3 or 4 figure in some cases. Like you might just be able to afford like 3 figures, maybe 4 figures one time, but even there it's still struggling. So that's exactly why I wanted to try and make this video to talk about this problem in as much detail as possible, but also mention what I'm actually trying to help these small business owners with, because it's the same position I've seen myself in and so many other small business owners in that I'm friends with as well, with their agencies or whatever business they might be in. And so that's why also link in the description below is like not really something I want to highlight too much, but it's a very simple like support package offer I want to help you with if you are a small business owner struggling in your current situation. It's just to see if we can potentially help you get you to that point where you can actually be one of like Iman's valued members of consulting.com, get you to that point where you're actually not just another client in their system, but actually in a very healthy position where you can easily invest in it and easily become one of their most successful and valued members. So if you do want to check out that offer in more detail, that is also available, link in description below to that website. But with all that being said, I do hope that has helped you kind of get a better understanding of maybe the position you're in with business and a kind of gap that kind of naturally gets created with any kind of influencer, any entrepreneurial influencer, but especially with like Iman fans. There's not really anything to be able to help you go from 2K, 5K, 10K or beyond until you're at that consulting level ready to actually get that package that he offers. And if you're at the beginning, a lot of the agency stuff and kind of the DL digital launchpad level stuff isn't really applicable to you anymore, but you just can't afford consulting.com yet. So I do hope this has helped clear things up for you. And I do hope if we can possibly help you, then I can maybe help you. Then check out the links in the description below, check out the video as well first. But with all that being said, thanks very much for watching. If you did find this video valuable, please do leave a like, consider subscribing. And with all that being said, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.